Welcome to week 23 of my self-important Magic the Gathering show. This week is Sultai. That is the color combination of black, blue, and green. We're going to go over here because once again I have another one that was fully built before I started just because it was easy to put together. So we'll go through that one first. So we got Volrath the Shapestealer. That is 2 in full Sultai for a 7/5 shapeshifter. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on up to one target creature. That's probably not going to matter a whole lot with this deck. That's a neat way to remove stuff slowly, or get rid of small things, or make big things less big, but that is not the direction we went in with this. But we can pay 1, and until your next turn, Volrath the Shapestealer becomes the copy of target creature with a counter on it, except it's a 7/5 and it has this ability. It has that ability, not the beginning of combat ability. So you probably want to let the beginning of combat happen and then use this ability if you care about those -1/-1 counters. So what we have, and the reason why this is called Volrath's Nazgûls is because we have all 9 Nazgûls in here. Excuse me. And then 21 clones to either copy Volrath himself or the Nazgûls, depending on what we have going on. This is probably going to be quick because I don't feel the express need to go over every single one of these guys in detail, but I guess we should. So we got the Hulking Metamorph. That's either a 7/7 for 9 or a 3/3 for 4. And it makes a copy, except for it has the power and toughness of Hulking Metamorph. Quicksilver Gargantuan is the same thing, except for it's stuck at a 7/7 for 7. And it's, let's see. This is artifact or creature you control. So what's neat about this, and I learned this on Arena actually, because I have this in a Golbez deck, that you can copy non-creature artifacts, and this becomes a creature artifact that's a copy of that artifact, so that's neat. So this is artifact or creature you control. This is any creature on the battlefield except for it's a 7/7. This is any creature on the battlefield except if it's a pirate, and you also draw a card if it deals damage to a player. That's for 5. Waxen Shape Thief. Artifact or creature you control. It has cycling in case you don't want to cast it, and flash in case you want to cast it for its 3 and a blue on someone else's turn. Vizier of Many Faces. Creature on the battlefield, except if this was embalmed. So you can cast it for 4, and then you can cast it for 5 if it dies. And I forget. No, I don't think Embalm adds anything other than the zombie creature type. Then Visage Bandit. Creature you control, except it's also a shapeshifter rogue. And you can plot it, so you can cast it ahead of time and just hold on to it. Or you're not casting it, you're pre-casting it. You're putting it on layaway, I guess. Although no, it's better than layaway, because layaway you still owe money. Anyway, never mind me. Undercover Operative. This is a clone, but it enters with a shield counter. Any creature on the battlefield. Any creature on the battlefield, but it also has flash. Any creature or planeswalker, +1/+1 counter or loyalty counter, and it isn't legendary, depending on what you copy. well, it's never legendary, but +1/+1 counter or loyalty, depending on if you're copying a creature. And it's you control, and we don't. I'm just letting you know, we do not control any. We do not control any planeswalkers. I don't think. I see that haunting voyage over there, and I think we'll probably get rid of that. Although I guess it can get all of our, a bunch of our shapeshifters. Yeah, I guess we're catching shapeshifters with that haunting voyage. Sakashima's student is a ninjutsu clone, and it adds the ninja subtype to whatever you're copying. Sakashima the Imposter is a clone, but you can also return it to your hand in case you wanted to clone something else. Hold on. Any creature on the battlefield, that's important to distinct. Any creature on the battlefield. Sakashima the Thousand Faces nullifies the legend rule. This is and whatever you copy, you can copy something, but it's keeps the name and these abilities. So that's good thing to copy Volrath with. Like if you can get Volrath out and then Sakashima out, I think that's like your ideal. Phyrexian Metamorph, any other artifact or creature, but it doesn't turn it into an artifact creature. So if you copy an artifact, it's not a creature. But also, it has Phyrexian mana, so you don't need any colored mana. Marahal Mimic, it enters the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it's a spirit. But you can also disturb it for this enchant creature that makes copies on your upkeep, so that's neat. Gigantoplasm, it's a clone, any creature on the battlefield, except you can pay to make it base power and toughness XX to what you pay. Copy Crook, any creature on the battlefield, but it connives when it attacks. Regular clone, Clever Impersonator. Actually, you know, regular clone is any creature on the battlefield. Clever Impersonator, any non-land permanent on the battlefield, so that's like really good. I mean, we want to copy the Nazgûls just for maximum lulls, but like having the option to copy anything is nice. And they're shapeshifters. Mirror Image, a creature you control. We're also down to the mana value 3s. Glasspool Mimic, creature you control, but it's a shapeshifter rogue. Also, it's an emergency land. Mockingbird has flying, and you basically have to pay the mana value of the thing that you want to copy. And it adds bird in addition to the flying. Roaming Throne to double our triggers. We want to say Wraith because we don't need to double this. That's pointless. Helm of the Host to make more of something. And then the Mirror Box, the legend rule doesn't apply to permanency control is fine, but we really want that each legendary creature you control gets... Nope, that's not the important one. The third part. Each non-token creature you control gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control that shares a name. So, you know, they will all be named Nazgûl except for Sakashima with 1,000 Faces. That's the only one that doesn't get the boost. And if you need a refresher on what Nazgûl itself does, when Nazgûl is 2 and a black for a 1/2 Wraith Knight with Death Touch. When Nazgûl enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you. When the ring tempts you, put a +1/+1 counter on each wraith you control. A deck can have up to 9 cards named Nazgûl, and that's what we're doing here. And we have all 9 arts in the cool Lord of the Rings frame. And then we have this one draw piece, the Great Henge, for $80. It's 9 mana for a legendary artifact. That costs X less, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. So with our commander out, it just costs green. And then you can tap it to add green and gain 2 life. And then whenever a non-creature enters the battlefield, or whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it and draw a card. Those +1/+1 counters are mildly important. Let's see, and then we got 12 pieces ramp. You know these. Soul Ring, Arc Sig, the Guild Signets, and since we're in green, Farseek, Nature's Lorn, 3 visits. I did not put Into the North in this one, I guess. We also have the 3 talismans, and then we have this Haunting Voyage, which for 6 mana we can choose 2 creatures of a specific type from the graveyard to the battlefield, but if we foretell it, it's all creatures of that type. And then we got 13 pieces of removal. Technically our creatures are also removal since they have Death Touch, sort of. But you know, we got the greatest hits from hold on. I'm going to turn off my mic to cough. We have the Assassin's Trophy, Tear Asunder, Beast Within, Aetherize, Atomize, Baleful Mastery, Crippling Fear, which is -3/-3 to all creatures that aren't of a specific type. Deadly Rollick, that's the free exile creature if we control our commander. Drag to the Roots, Mortality Spear. Aether Spouts, Raise the Palisade, that's the bounce all creatures that aren't of the chosen type. And Kindred Dominance, the 7 mana board wipe that destroys all creatures that aren't of a chosen type. And we'll probably pick Wraith as the type, since everything is going to be a Wraith. Because our opponents are less likely to have Wraiths than Knights. Then we have our protection pieces, Lightning Greaves, Swoop of Boots, Mithril Coat. Could this deck be better? Of course. And then we have our 37 lands, 38 with the MDFC right here. So that's that deck. We're going to leave this up because we're probably going to want to grab this removal, this ramp, but not these lands because I think I put different lands. But let's grab the removal. Copy card names. I'll grab the ramp. And then I highly doubt I'll need anything else. And if I do, these 3 pieces of protection. Control V. Control V. Copy card names. Control V. And Control V. Anything else? Not from this deck. Like, theoretically, the Roaming Throne, but I can just type that in. Same with Great Henge, I can just type those in. So let's go for here. Volrath's Nazgûl. And yes, I did do a copy pasta to get that accent mark. And what is our description? 9 is not enough. And we will set this to unlisted. Oh, our signature is expired. Ah. That's the thing that happens. 9 is not enough. Unlisted. There we go. Ding. Which means you should save just fine. Yep, okay. Close. Save changes. Close. We're going to save this one for last because this is the one that when you see the commander, you'll realize that I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. But it should be interesting. So we're going to go Human Exploitation Project. So the last one was Nazgûl typo. This is human typo. Let's meet 65. That's neat. Let's go over our lands. Let's see. Oh, I did just copy the lands, didn't I? Yep, I just did the lazy. I honestly should have been less lazy and put in more snowlands just so I could also use into the north over here to have 12 pieces of ramp. I'm looking over here. Oh, that's what I did here. So I'm just going to put into the north. There. So this deck will have 12 pieces of ramp, but we'll get to that later. So what do we got? We got Henry Wu, engine scientist from, or geneticist. What did I say? I already forgot what I said. This is from the Jurassic Park. Not really a set, but it was like, I think, in the Caverns of Ixalan collector boosters, if I'm not mistaken. Just moving some stuff to different places in my area. Henry Wu, engine geneticist, and other human creatures you control have exploit. That's the whole deal. Is that we're going to try to leave extra mana open to do the exploit thing. Will this creature explain what exploit is in the card info? Not mana open. I was thinking of the other thing. The Orzhov Life Drain. Whose name I forget and I think starts with an I. Oh, darn. Anyway, so whenever a creature with exploit enters, you may sacrifice a creature. So that's... Whenever a creature you control exploits a non-human creature, draw a card. If the exploited creature has power 3 or greater, create a treasure token. So we're going to need a mix of humans and non-humans to make that work. And I realize I read this creature wrong, I think. I thought that we would exploit humans. I don't know what... I actually have no idea what I want to do with this anymore. So in real time, you're going to watch me change my mind. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to select all and delete. We're going to add into the north. So we're going to go over here, copy card names and quantity. Added 31 different cards, but we have 37 total cards. So we're going to go in here. We're going to go T Legend, T Creature, Order CMC. Because I read Henry Wu wrong. Or I didn't read him wrong, and I don't remember what I planned on doing with him. Okay, so what do we got? We got Glarb Calamity Augur. You may look at 3 Sultai for a 2/4 Frog Wizard Noble with Death Touch. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play lands and cast spells with mana value 4 or greater from the top of your library, and you can surveil. You can tap it to surveil too. I recall this being an intimidating commander that might be in CDH now, so I might not want to build this for myself because I don't want people to think I'm all that, because I'm not. Even though that doesn't feel like it's that powerful, but I guess that surveil too, and the casting stuff and playing lands off the top of your library is really cool. I could do we'll come back to that. We can do a week Glarb. Let's see. Kotis Sipsig Champion. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a creature spell from your graveyard by exiling 3 other cards. Okay, so that gives all of your creatures escape 3. So he gets bigger when you do that. Mimeoplasm, Revered One. See, this combination loves putting stuff in the, into the graveyard and taking it out of the graveyard. But that's not like what I'm a fan of. Nashi, the legendary rat thing. Kotis over here steals stuff, and we're not about that life. Cadena, Slinking Sorcerer. That's face down stuff. Arkelos, Lagoon Mystic, is neat. That once you get him into play and he sticks around, when as long as he's tapped, other permanents enter the battlefield tapped. As long as he's untapped, other permanents enter the battlefield untapped. I have a Rule 0 deck idea that has this guy and the rabbit at the same time. Just have a 5-color deck. It's not good, but I don't care. I don't know if I might rebuild that one for an episode. Although I'd probably have to put a different thing in the command zone just to get the color identity correct without doing anything weird. Remove a counter from another permanent control. Populate. That's interesting. Sacrifice another creature to proliferate. Both of those are sorceries. That's neat. If we have both populate and proliferate stuff to do, and it has nothing to do with the graveyard. And I like removing counters from another permanent you control. That I mean, as long as we have things to populate, I mean, we would just do that just to, because we could do, hold on, I'm going to need to blow my nose, but we can do Sultai sagas, because Sultai does have a lot of good sagas. Man, I love breathing through my nose. It's my favorite thing to do. If that's a weird sentence to you, then you take for granted your ability to breathe through your own nose. Let's see, 9 fingers. Ward pay 9 life. May as well be hexproof, but that's cool as heck. Whenever 9 fingers Keene deals combat damage to a player, look at the top 9 cards of your library. you may do gate stuff. Huh. That's interesting, just to see if there's nine gates in Sultai, or even 10 gates in Sultai. So I'm gonna set this as the commander. We're gonna Control X that to hold on to it, and we're gonna go T gate. There are 14 gates that can go into this color combination. Thank you, Baldur's Gate, I think. Yep, Commander Legend Baldur's Gate. Oh, and then one gate over here in Dominaria United. And then whatever M3C is. Let's look at all printings. I don't know what set that is, but whatever. Yeah, let's build this silly deck. So, Thran Portal enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands. So that's a early game land. As Thran Portal enters the battlefield, choose a basic land type. Okay. Thran Portal is the chosen land type in addition to its other types. Okay. And then mana abilities of Thran Portal cost an additional 1 life to activate. That's fine. Emergency mana fixing. The Black Gate enters the battlefield, pay 3 life. If you don't, it comes to play tapped. And then you can add black, or you can pay 2 and tap it to choose a player with the most life or type for the most life. Target creature can't be blocked by creatures that player controls this turn. Well, that's neat. When Talon Gates of Madara enters the battlefield, tap up to 1 target. Oh, up to 1 target creature phases out. That's neat. Then you can tap it for colorless, or you can filter, or you can also just pay 4 to make it an extra land drop. Mildly interesting. So and then we got the Guild Gate. So we're gonna have to take other cards out of our land section. So this deck is going to be pretty sucky for lands, but that's fine. Seagate enters tapped, and they can tap for blue or a color and one other color other than blue. And then the same thing but green. The black one is up here. Heap Gate taps for colorless, and then it can filter, and then you can tap a different gate, this and a different gate to create treasure, which sounds handy, honestly. Gates enter untapped, taps for colorless or the color of any other gate you control. That sounds good. Golgari Guild Gate, Damia Guild Gate, Gateway Plaza. Gateway Plaza enters the battlefield tapped. When Gateway Plaza enters the battlefield, sacrifice unless you pay 1, and then it's 1 mana of any color. That's fine. Basilisk Gate taps for colorless, or 2 and tap it. Target creature gets +X/+S until end of turn, where X is the number of gates you control. Activate as a sorcery. Oh, that's never good. And then this can tap for up to 13, assuming you have all of your gates out. But if you have all of your gates, I don't know what to tell you. But it's Baldur's Gate, so it can go in. now we go, oh, gate, to see what good cards care about gates or find our gates. Okay, as our gateway. Oh. We're going to have a bunch of stuff that says investigate. Up to 2 basic land cards and or gate cards. That's helpful. The only reason why this is helpful is because it grabs gates. That investigate, that's investigate. Investigate, investigate. Investigate, investigate. Investigate, then get +1/+1 until for each clue you control. I thought that said gate because I wasn't reading. Investigate. Or this can search for a gate, so that's good. Just in case there's a card that says both gate and investigate, that's the only reason why I didn't refine my search. And it was also only 108 cards. I have a feeling that this just says investigate, investigate. Yep. Okay. Bloodhound, investigate, investigate. Well, this does that thing, but for 1 more mana you take the initiative, may as well. Investigate. Investigate, 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 investigate. Oh, this gets +1/+1 for each gate you control. Oh, this thing gets vigilance and trample. That's at least neat. We'll just do the Gate Colossus. I mean, we're already kind of like bracket 1 territory, and I don't care. Gatekeeper Vine. You search for gates. +1/+1 counters for your gates. Sure, why not? You know what? We'll just put all the bad gate cards at this point. Ooh, untap a gate. That actually could be good depending on what gates you have. Sure, Glaive of the Guild Pack. Can't be blocked if you have a gate, or if a gate entered that turn. When Guild Summit enters the battlefield, you may tap any untapped gates you control and draw a card for each gate tap this way, and then whenever one enters the battlefield, you draw a card. That's fine. I'm fine with that. Investigate, investigate, investigate. Investigate. Oh, there it said. I was trying to find where it said investigate or gate. Investigate, investigate, investigate. Hopefully me saying investigate over and over again is more soothing than annoying. Like, having these investigate cards would be funny in a completely missing the point way, but we're not doing that. Oh, Maze's End, of course. I mean, we may as well have it. Lands or gates. This says, oh, Eternity Gate. There we go. It was in the flavor. Sure. Draw a card if you control 2 or more gates. Search your library for a basic land or gate card. We do have basic lands in the deck currently because we have those snow lands. Oh, we can gain life. Control 2 or more gates, we can gain 7 life. Okay, that's it. Says investigate twice. That eventually said investigate, 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 investigate. Target creature gets -2 until -2. If you control 2 or more gates, sure, why not? It's an absolute garbage card, but sure. Any creature is unblockable as long as you control a gate, sure, why not? There we go. And then now we're going to do grid. Yeah, like we're over, but we also have 53 lands, which is way too many lands. So, gonna check a message really quick. I got an interesting message. Don't need to share it, but it was interesting. Just letting you know. What lands do we want to get rid of? Unless you control a... Can I... Okay, I'm going to throw these on the maybe board. Because I can clear out the maybe board, but at least this gives me somewhere to put them. And then that. The cycling one I'll keep because you can cycle them away. We can get rid of that. Unless you control. Reveal from your hand. Reveal from your hand. Since we're keeping all of the basics, I think this one's fine to stay. These ones care about swamps, and I really want to keep the tainted ones. Keep the surveil lands. What does that put us down to? Actually, we still have too many. That's very interesting. We're at... Well, a lot of these things are colorless. So we definitely want to keep the shock lands. I want to keep the surveil lands. You know what? Let's dump that. I got to change this because I don't like. I just want to get rid of the. I don't care if this one's more expensive. I can't stand looking at foil. Close. Opulent Palace is fine. I was wondering if we had the command tower, and we do. Okay. What are we at now? We're at 38. I think I'm fine with 38 since so many of them intertapped. So what do we got? We got Triome, Snow, Shock, Surveil, Gate, two more basics, which is possible. Gate, Snow, cares about gates, Shock, all of our colors, WinCon, Gate, Snow, Surveil, Gate, Command Tower, Shock, Gate. Yeah, I don't see another thing that I want to cut, so we'll be at 38. Go back to stacks, and we are going to select all and delete everything there. There we go. And then we're going to put everything everything that cares about gates. Oh, we do not need this or that. We're probably going to want some other removal now. Like, this is, I feel, the best removal, even though they look expensive. Oh wait, no, we don't need Crippling Failure either, because all of the single target removal hits non-land permanents or permanents, except for the Baleful Mastery, but that still exiles at the either cost of 4 or letting an opponent draw a card, and that also can hit Planeswalkers. So, and then I find Aether Sprouts and Aetherized just to be funny. Oh, and Deadly Rollick is exiled, but it can also theoretically be free. So we are going to call this 19 card section Hot Gates. Hot Gates, not hit gates, Hot Gates. Oh, and then let's do that again, because I meant to make that G a capital letter. There we go. So that's 83 of our cards. We have 12 creatures. So let's think about what kind of creatures we want to put in this deck. I just thought of one that I thought of earlier, but it wasn't like time to say it yet. So, Overlord. Is it Overlord? Yes. Overlord of the Haunt Woods. Whenever it enters or attacked, you get a... oh, that's every basic land type. Never mind. Is there... Oh. Every land type. Yes, we want the Queen of Isuva. Whenever they enter the battlefield or attacked, you put an everything counter on each up to one target land and one target creature. Lands are every land type, and creatures are every creature type. So that'll let us turn our non-gates into additional gates. If she ever comes into play. Do we want to put her in the hot gates section? Actually, yes, I do. Because we're hiding her in there. Okay, so that gives us 13 creatures. I do want a couple of more specific things. D blocked T E whip. We'll take the Bilbo's ring because we're playing green. We'll take the Brotherhood Regalia. We'll take the Psychic Paper. We'll even take the Prowler's Helm. The Whisper Silk Cloak. I'm not sure about Wrecking Ball Arm. It doesn't prevent all blocking. And our commander's power greater than 3. What else gives hexproof? Champion's Helm. Oh, we kind of want Shadow Spear because it gives trample. It's cheap that it gives trample. We'll do Mirror Shield. Let's go to the top. Let's see. We have 13 creatures. We're going to try to put in more creatures now, because we're going to want blockers and stuff. You know, we're going to put all of this into protection. Because it's all protecting somehow. Oh, Psychic Paper to put itself in ramp. So did Prowler's Helm for some reason. So did Brotherhood Regalia for some reason. There we go. 11 things that I argue protect something somehow. So let's go to EDH Rec just to kind of finish this deck off and see what kind of creatures it says I should have. Let's see if that either A gives us ideas. Oh, landfall stuff. Yeah, let me check something really quick. Oh, the gates that you find go directly into the battlefield, so that's interesting. Yeah, so Tatiova Benthic Druid is definitely good. Gain a life, draw a card. Oh, this actually, yeah, goes into this deck because we want our gates to come into play untapped. I don't think we need extra land drops. Oh, I see how Tiller Engine's good. You can untap the land when it comes into play. I don't know if we... Actually, things being every basic land type, I realize is actually good. I normally don't bother in 3-color decks, but I'm like, oh wait. We have a lot of garbage lands in this deck. Zamone, Simic, standard issue. White Mortar Uro. That's... You know what, let's play lands from the top of our library. Well, this costs 6, but it does search for any land card. This only costs 1 more than Tatiova. Sage of the Maze. Huh, why didn't that show up when I was searching for things that said gate? You know, I might as well put it in. Syntax search. O. Gate. Minus O. Investigate. Kind of seeing if I can see where I missed them. Sage of the Maze. He was right there the whole time. Anyway, let's find... Sage of the Maze goes here. Everything after Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Oh, we're at 101. You know, we're going to take out the Uvenwald Hydra. There we go. This deck is dumb and is a stinker, but I don't care. I like what we put together for what we were doing. I'm just going to call this Hot Gates. And yep, that's just going to be it. There we go. Unlisted. Save deck changes. Close. And now our initial commander that I don't know what I'm going to do with. Oh, and I can take out you, take out you, take out you. Notice I didn't actually put in more removal like I said I should. Might actually do that here. So this is an interesting creature that costs 7. It's 4 and a full set of Sultai for a 4/4 Gorgon Wizard. Skip your Death Touch, skip your draw step. That sounds bad. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have fewer than 7 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the difference. I think that's neat. Like, it doesn't tell you how to play the deck, but it's like, hey, I see where you were playing your cards. Here. So the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to add more protection pieces. I know we just closed a deck that had a bunch of new protection pieces in it, but we're just going to type that up again. O equip O hexproof. There. I still like that. Then you. And then you know what, you. Because we really want to make sure no one shoots the card that draws me cards. And then Indestruct. Darksteel Plate. Cauldron Complete because it amuses me. Hammer of Nazan. We could put all of Cauldron in here, but we're not going to. That's only indestructible till end of turn on that Battle Fan. Then Shroud. Oh, prevent all combat damage. I like that. Whisper Silk Cloak. Do the Stealth Suit. There we go. Like, this is a little expensive, but this makes preventing all combat damage seems neat. Non-combat. I just want to see if there's anything that cares about that. Prevent all non-combat damage as well, just to cover our bases. There we go. All of that is going into protection. And then we gotta find... Okay, nothing landed in ramp for whatever reason. That's still weird that it did it in the other deck. So now we're at 75, and we're going to want other creatures. What do we want these other creatures to do, though? That's the big question. I'm going to check another message while I think about this one. not the one I meant to go to. This is another one where I'm going to go to EDH Rec to see if they have a plan, and we're going to creatures again because that's what we need because we don't have any. Huh. Okay, yeah, I can see where we'd want Muldrotha because we're probably going to be burning through stuff. Bird of Paradise for extra ramp. Dry to the Elysian Grove, maybe. Tatiova. There's a lot of just generic stuff in here. Baleful Strix. Flying Death, draw a card. Delighted Halfling. Gitrog Monster. Deathrite Shaman. I think I've given myself an idea somehow. I don't think any of these cards gave me the idea because we're not doing any of this landfall stuff. Though the Dryad of the Elysian Grove is just kind of nice to have. Anytime you can instantly fix your mana. Seedborn Music Game Changer. I'm going to do this. Scroll to top. Yep. If I scroll down, I bet Seedborn Muse. There we go. Yep. Bing. I think I mentioned it before, but I'll say it again, that the bracket system has made me go, oh, I guess I really don't need to use these cards anymore when it comes to game changers. I just look at them and go, huh, no. If my deck's a bracket 3, it's a bracket 3 despite there not being any game changers in it. And if the only thing that's making it bracket 3 is game changers, then I don't want them in the deck. That's once that became a thing, that's how I started thinking about it. Go over here. T creature. O discard. Want to see what kind of discard effects. Although we do have to get to 7, so I can see why we would want more ramp than what we got. So we'll probably grab some more of that ramp really quick now that I'm thinking about it. Control X. EDH Rec. Creature, mostly because this had I'd already picked out that and that. And this. We're not doing all of the 1/1 for 1 elves. There's these two, and then there's another one that taps for colorless. And then there's Deep Shadow, but that deals damage to you. We're fine with that. So now we're going to read this. The Abomination of Goodle, who I don't remember. Okay, if it deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Target player. Oh, there's going to be a lot of black other people discards card stuff. We're going to do a U just to see if what that changes. Also kind of want to discard more than one card for like more cards for Anthropede destroys rooms. That's neat. Draw 2, then discard 1. I like Armix, Filigree Thrasher, but not for this deck. Archon of Cruelty. No. There we go. Bone Miser. Whenever you discard a creature, whenever you discard a land, whenever you discard a non-creature, non-land. I don't know how deep we're going to go into the discard, though. There's actually a different thing that I want. Oh. Additional up. At the beginning of the Enchanted player's first upkeep. No, we don't want that. Big. Post-combat main phase. There we go. We want the Shadow of the Second Sun. At the beginning of Enchanted player's post-combat main phase, there's an additional beginning phase, which is untap, upkeep, and draw, and then Sphinx of the Second Sun, which does the same thing. And then Cyclonus does that too. Because, yes. So that way we can play our cards and then get our additional cards right away. I want to see if there's anything that does stuff in our draw step that we want to dodge. Gee, ooh, how does drawing additional cards fare versus this effect? I am not reading Chains of Mephistopheles, tell you that much right now. Fate Spinner's funny. Okay, that's... no. Oh, since we're already skipping our draw step, Infernal Sovereign's fine. Malignant Growth. What do? You have accumulated upkeep 1. Affects opponent's draw step, so I no longer care. Ooh, players can't... oh, that's just this, is they can't draw. That's a weird non-bow that might actually be a bow. Skipping your draw step so Mana Vault doesn't hurt you is mildly funny, but I think Mana Vault's still a game changer, so I'm not bothering with that. Necropotence is definitely a game changer. Necro Dominance? No, this lowers your maximum hand size, so that doesn't help. Notion Thief. Maximum hand size is 2. That doesn't help. Recycle is basically null profusion again. I'm actually glad they stopped doing this and they've like, I have nothing against Phil Foglio, but his art just really isn't Magic the Gathering to me. He's definitely an unset artist, not a main set artist. Oh, Psychic Possession is kind of funny. Skip your draw step whenever enchanted opponent draws a card. You may draw a card. Skip your draw step. Oh, this puts stuff in your graveyard, which is mildly interesting. Wow, this is just a mean card for mean jerks. At the beginning of each player's draw step, and we don't have a draw step. This must have Oracle text that has something to do with draw steps. Oh, at the beginning. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Instead of at the end of your upkeep, it's at the beginning of your draw step. So, what did we get to? We got to 88. How many creatures did we get up to? We got to 10. We're going to want more creatures now, especially since some of our creatures ended up in ramp, which means they're not very good at blocking or attacking. Let's go back here. Oh yeah, we need to fill that out. Let's go O lands U. I just like Beladros Witherbloom. We're just basically doing some good card adding. Sharks, the Raging Isle. There's one thing I am specifically looking for, but I don't know if I'll find it. Joiner Adept. Lands you control add mana of any color to your mana pool. That probably could have made it into the previous deck we did. As well as Chromatic Lantern. I don't think I'm going to put any more non... Swords of... Okay, so we got 9 more spaces left. And we want all 9 of those things to be creatures. Apparently landfall is really popular. Oh, I guess T elf power 1 MV equals 1. That untaps forests. Specifically, the Boreal Druid is the thing I was thinking of. Findlehorn elves. There we go. I'm sorry, there was something down here. Oh, tap 3 elves. Yeah, if we were doing elf ball, that would be cool. So that puts us at 95. Oh. Our good friend Arasta of the Endless Web can go into this deck. Because she makes tokens when your opponents cast instants and sorcery spells. That's always nice. Like, I guess, like, we kind of want to be just casting stuff all of the time. But, we're going to be running through our deck pretty quick if we do that. This is kind of just, keep stuff, like, keep us from having an empty hand. Else 4 more creatures, and this isn't helping. I'm gonna go to whoops, I meant to say this wasn't helping. Let's go to artifacts, see if there are any artifact creatures that sneak in here. Felmar Stone, I understand because it's a 3-color deck. Any enchantment creatures? No? Okay. Wait, since we put some creatures into our deck, it takes them out of here. Nope, it doesn't have any new things. This is in mill. How is this? Why is this? How and why? I mean, I could put this in removal and it would make just as much sense. I could put this into protection and it would make way more sense. In fact, we're just going to move it to protection, even though I kind of wanted this to be no creatures, but no, that makes sense. Charx, Raging Isle. He's a piece of protection because he has a big butt. Joiner Adept is in ramp, even though she herself doesn't actually add any mana. She's just a fixer. Oh. Huh. There. And then Frog He Myth, because they remove, because those two remove stuff from other people's graveyards. So a teeny tiny bit of graveyard hate. We're at 20 creatures, and we're going to be at 22 creatures, and that makes me feel a little bit better. I also feel a little bit better about how long this episode is compared to last one. I'm still upset that I wasn't feeling well, and then I wasn't feeling well enough to redo the episode. Though I could get my other videos out, I just couldn't. I just didn't have time to set to make that one longer. It's getting hotter, so I'm going to be getting worse feeling. I mean, that's just how it is. What do I want to do? Oh, wait. T Spell Shaper. So what do we got? Discard 2 cards to return X creatures to their owner's hand. I cost 5. Discard a card to give the thing flying. Ooh, Bog Witch turns anything into a dark ritual. That's neat. Cackling Witch turns any card into a Howl from Beyond, I believe. That turn, the Balloon Peddler turns any card into a. The card was called Jump. Cloud Seeder turns things into garbage birds. That turns anything into a fog. Turns things into forests. Counters stuff that targets creatures. Divining Witch, no, we're not doing that. Oh, Instigator some black goad on this kind of hot pirate lady with intimidating face paint. I wonder if she's also a cannibal because of that face paint. I have no idea. Discard a card to double your land. Wait, no, to change. Okay, so discard a card to mana fix your land until end of turn. Discard a card to search for basics. Kind of a discardy thing. Searches for basics. Like this is why we're not going all into these spell shapers because they're very specialized. I'm just seeing what they all do. Oh, this thing can turn anything into a Llanowar elf. Like this isn't very strong, and you kind of have to have garbage cards that you don't want to play. And I kind of want to play my cards, so I don't like discarding stuff. But I'm kind of glad I looked at this, because spell shapers are kind of neat. That didn't help me at all. Because, like, I guess I could discard a Llanowar elf to make a Llanowar elf. But, like, no. Although I could, like, if this was a Madrotha deck instead of a Damia deck, I could definitely see myself just having this bracket 1 spell shaper deck just to amuse myself. Because, like, some of these effects aren't bad, they're just weird. Like, they're not bad, but, like, would you really trade a different card for that effect? I think is what the question you have to ask yourself is. Let's see, there's no reason to double up our commander's triggers because it doesn't do anything. I really don't need to draw more cards, funny as that sounds. We're not gonna tutor anything. I just remembered that oh well, no, I don't. I guess I could use more card draw, even though I have card draw. Okay, I'm not concerned about the number of creatures anymore. Even though I have 7, 8 pieces right here, and though that's not really card draw. That's not actually card draw either. But it's going in this section because it becomes card draw if I don't have my commander. Weird kind of cycling. We're looking for stuff that creates creature tokens. Atchik creates insect creatures for stuff in your graveyard. We're not worried about that. We're not worried about that. We're not worried about that. We're not worried about any of those. We can create rogues. We cast stuff during an opponent's turn. I love this Gorgon right here. Whenever she attacks, you can make snakes with death touch. You can make people lose their life. Oh, actually, you know what? That actually, I think I know what I want. One of my last two. Unstoppable Slasher, removal bait. Ooh, this. Remember that guy that can move counters? Yeah, that's interesting. This is a card that would go in that because we can remove the stun counters from this to something else. I think that's how that worked. And then just for the last one, this green Overlord, since it can make us lands. There we go. That it's not really a finisher, but sure. I do in fact call it removal bait because that's what I feel it is. I like how this weirdo deck turned out. What are we on time? 132. I feel a lot better about that. So we are going to call it here. What is this? We're just going to call this full grip. Keep a full grip. Ding. Keep our hands full, hopefully. Save changes. Close. Then close this. And then we can just move that up there. Just move this there. Oh, it probably doesn't recognize it anymore because I changed its name. So next week is Mardu, and I see some neat dudes there. See you then.